Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's have ourselves a game here. Let's play with some speed and aggression and purpose. Every move should have purpose. Many times, players, even at high levels, don't necessarily make moves with purpose, just ambling around. So far in the opening, I think it's relatively solid for both sides. Nothing much either way here or there. Um, We'll just play a little bit quick though. We want to hustle him on the clock and we want to keep it simple and solid. That's the way I like it. Simple and solid. I like to capture in this direction. I think it's good to get that C pawn for my B pawn. And this bishop here, well, maybe we don't have to be the ones to pull the trigger, but at the same time, it's not a bad idea. Just pull it and then push the pawn forward. So the good news of pushing the pawn forward is he can't just run past I have en passant, right? So it's stunning this pawn. That's a very common idea which comes into play very often towards the end of the game. Okay, at the start of the game, you're like, what's the point of this? But towards later point of the game, you will find that this pawn here becomes quite a menace very often. But the risk of doing it is that you lose the pawn. If he manages to get some sort of a bishop here and some sort of a knight here, then all of a sudden this pawn can become quite vulnerable. So it's a risk. And I'm not convinced it was a risk worth taking. The complicated position right now. He is attacking my loose piece, which is a knight here. And it's an awkward piece, admittedly so. I would love to be able to pull him here, but I lose the pawn right away. And if I kill back here, he just gets out of the firing line of the rook. So perhaps not optimal. But now, in order to exploit this loose piece, what can he really do? He can, he's deciding to play it a sober style of chess. Sobriety is good. Sobriety is important. We're going to defend our piece laterally, hold the tension. This is not a nothing move. It's an active move. It's just holding it. You have to know when you want to like reach and when you want to hold. And this is one of those positions. Now we definitely take with en passant because he was threatening a fork right after. We don't want to have to respond to such things. And now this move comes in with fairly good liberation, most likely forcing a trade, but I'm not 100% sure anymore. Because what about queen here? Yeah, I'm not convinced queen there was anything special anyway, but I'm also not surprised that he didn't try anything. Let's go here. I'm giving up this pawn. I know what I'm doing, man. Relax. Don't always get on my case. I'm not sure if I know what I'm doing though. I just think like I got some ideas. I think it's interesting. I got this kind of stuff. I got this kind of stuff. And I also, of course, the knight is a loose piece, so I have this rook move as an intermezzo before to just hold everything together before I start on my piece capturing journey. And he can, of course, come here, and he may. He may, but then we have this pawn, and we also have this tempo. Pawns and tempo. You know, everything is about pawns, pieces, and tempo. In this case, maybe our tempo idea was not the right idea, but let's bring in more pressure, more guns to the fight. We're also stifling this bishop, right, who's just looking to liberate itself, but now we're shutting it down. No. And now we should be in a great position to either double up here, which is not good. Yeah. We can get into an even position, or we can try to get an advantageous position. It goes bishop back here, which he may very well do. It's going to be hard. Okay. We're going to play a long, slow grind build up rather than capturing and equalizing the material equation right away. We're going to maneuver our pieces into optimal squares first, albeit at some risk. And then we're going to do it. And why do we do it this way? It's because the ensuing position at the end of all of that is going to be better for us if we do it the slow way. Because you see, now he's spending time doing things he doesn't know what he wants to do exactly. Because, well, let's face it, it's not an easy game. And his queen is dangerously close to getting trapped now. Dangerously close. Knight cutting off the escape diagonal for the queen. He's sure to be running short of squares soon enough. And if he tries to get greedy, ooh, you got trapped right there. You got a trapped queen there, bunker. My goodness me. Sometimes these amateurs really are amateurs, but you know, whatever. He was running short on time, so. All right, let's evaluate the position, and 88%. Oh my goodness me. Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. Good middle game, but not so great opening. Have a quick review. How did it go? All this opening bonanza bullshit. I didn't really care if my openings were perfect. Doesn't matter to me. What I do care about is when we get to this phase of the game. Okay, so this, I missed a tactic here. I missed a tactic. It was tactical and tricky, and I may have considered it, but then thought it's too complicated and gone for something simple. That's a common mistake I tend to make. Laziness. Instead, preferring very often to just hold good structures and try to strategically outplay my opponent. And here is where we come to the good part of the game, where we start doing these little developing moves, and you can see the pressure just took too much. Too many good moves in a row, and he cracked. All right, cheers there.